Ding ding, connect the dots. Welcome to another edition of Connect the Dots, a podcast that brings people from various walks of life to talk to us about their journey, the things that they're doing differently to achieve the goals they've set for themselves, and how the goals or the achievement of their goals is making the society engage or benefit in one way or the other, and at the end of the day bringing the paradigm shift and the change we want to see in our society, especially in Nigeria. Today we are together with Lukman Bello, English language instructor and education consultant with about a decade in the Middle East, and even teacher trainer, who's been doing a lot. And I think the story around the way he started his career, the studies and everything is going to be a kind of story of impact to the younger generation or people of our age, or the youth in Nigeria especially. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so today we have you, and we are glad that you're much like a three-pole way thing that you do that is going to impact our society. And we'll just first of all want to know what your area of study was before you started your career.
Okay, once again, thanks for having me. I started off as English graduate from ABU Zaria.
Okay.
And then I worked for a period of time, like 10 months in the bank PHP specifically.
Okay.
And
Platinum Habib Bank.
Yes.
At the time.
Yes. So after 10 months, I got laid off. I was affected by the Sunusilamido's banking recapitalization.
Mm-hmm.
I got laid off, and then in between that period, before I went to Saudi Arabia, I was playing football with some people, and somebody came to me. It was like, "Oh, Lukman, there's an opportunity for you who studied English. They're recruiting from Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to join? If yes, here's my friend who's going to conduct tests for you, and then they send you the visa and all that." So I got my job on a platter of gold. There was no struggle. I didn't spend a dime. Everything came so
easily.
Free to me. Yeah, so easily, unexpected. But prior to then, I had gone to Alexandria to do TEFL, that's teaching English as a foreign language. It's an American certification which enables you to get a job in the Middle East.
Okay.
So before the opportunity came, I was actually prepared as well.
Oh, wow.
So that's one thing we need to put into consideration before we do anything. You have to be prepared
for opportunities.
Comes.
Oh, okay.
So that's how the journey has been. And then I got a job shortly after my TEFL in Dammam, which is like the Niger Delta of Saudi Arabia. That's where the oil is.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a job there. I'll send the visa, the tickets and everything. And then I spent 2 years there. And then I moved to Riyadh, capital of Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
In Dammam, they're more friendly. They're very friendly. It's a coastal city next to Qatar and Bahrain.
Okay.
But in Riyadh, they're very, very hostile. It's not the same.
Oh, as the first place of your encounter in the Saudi Arabia.
Yes. It's Riyadh is a very hostile place, and you just don't want to be there.
Okay.
Yeah, but for me, fortunately, I spent like 7 years there.
Okay.
In 2 different schools, Saudi International School as well as Al Rawad International School.
Okay.
Yes.
So your experience in the first place of your encounter with Saudi, what was it like for you? Because you said they are more accommodating there than the second place.
Yes, they are very, very friendly, quite accommodating. In fact, they see me pray in the masjid all the time. I don't miss my salah in the masjid. And there was a time some group of old men called me. They were like, "Lukman, is everybody in Nigeria Muslim?" I said, "No. What's the point? Why are you asking me that?" Then they said, "We see that you don't miss salah in the masjid. You don't miss your prayers."
Mm-hmm. In congregation.
Yes. You're always in congregation prayer. And we are wondering, we have our own kids who only return from whatever they've gone to do from their businesses or whatever. They only return before Salatul Fajr or prior to close to Salatul Fajr. That's the dawn prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they don't even pray, much less pray in the masjid. So I told them, no, we are a secular society, but if you're a Muslim, you want to be a good one.
Yeah.
So that's what I told them. So they have a very good impression about us in the MAM. Once they even see you as a Nigerian, they say, hey, what are you doing here? Because they know that in OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, they know that Nigerians have always been
top on the list.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They know that Nigerians have always been the Secretary General of OPEC, and we're doing fantastically well. So they ask you such questions like, Lukman, what are you doing here? Then I tell them, I mean, it's just part of my adventure. I'm just going to be here for a while.
Oh, yeah? I think that's better instead of projecting us in some type of image that some of our people do when they go abroad. Yeah. So, you know, there is the thing with culture shift.
Yes.
Culture shock. In Nigeria, we are a secular country, and you can mix with a lot of people, whether they are Muslims or Christians, in the most respectable manner, kind of. But I don't know what it is like for you when you went to that particular city. What was it like for you? Because, you know, the Saudi culture intertwined with religion restricts a lot of things.
Okay, I'm going to discuss this in two phases.
Yeah.
The first being under the rulership of King Abdullah. May Allah be pleased with him.
I mean.
He is the king I met when I got to Saudi Arabia. And he's a very nice man, very compassionate. During his reign, it would be a choice for you to either be poor or to be rich. Because if you want to study up until PhD level anywhere in the world, he's ready to give you the scholarship. Just provide your proof of English, and then you go. And I used to train people then for IELTS, TOEFL, SAT, and all those standardized international examinations. I used to prepare people for that. So, and then suddenly when he died, we got a new king, the current one, and a lot of things changed drastically and negatively too. So the scholarship thing got cancelled. You don't get bank loan easily, even as a Saudi. That was a kind of tremendous shock to me. On the other side again, when it comes to mingling with the both sexes, the female gender, the female and male. When we first got to Saudi Arabia, it was very strict. They even have haya, and they call them religious police. They bring people together when it comes to Salah period. They monitor shops. They tell them, okay, Salah period, go and pray and all that. But suddenly, after King Abdullah passed away, or even prior to that, to then, they stopped working, they stopped functioning, and when King Salman came on board, they no longer exist.
Oh, the crown prince.
Yes, the crown prince is called MBS, Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah.
But the father is the main ruler, who is King Salman himself. But MBS is so popular because it's the one behind all the new initiatives across the kingdom. So right now, in the past, it used to be that you have a family entrance for any eatery or even malls. You have family entrance, you have single entrance. Okay. But as we speak right now, those things are non-existent.
Oh, wow.
They don't exist anymore. Right now, people coexist or mix up almost as it is in Nigeria. Before I even came home, I saw some female people smoking publicly.
And Saudis?
Yes, it's not a big deal anymore. They are moving. They're moving at a very, very fast
pace to catch up with what exactly? Well, that's not what to discuss about.
Civilization.
Yes, civilization. All right. So I think we've got a little bit about the culture thing. Moving to another city from where you were first, from the MAM. What was it like?
Okay. Like I said, the MAM people are very, very nice, very friendly. I'll give you example. Before I got my car, each time I stand by the road going to work, there will be someone with friendly smile will come to me. Oh, where are you going? I'll say I'm going to work. I'm going. For instance, maybe I'm going towards the east and he's going towards the west. He wouldn't mind. He would just say, "Oh, come along with me." He'll go and drop me, and then as he's leaving, he says, "Here's my card. call me when you need anything.
Wow.
They love that clause.
Wow.
Please call me when you need anything.
Wow.
The demand people, I hear this like all the time. I even thought it was planned. And then after my 2 years, and they always put up smiling face. They're very nice people. And then after my 2 years, I moved to Riyadh. And getting to Riyadh, they're so hostile. I don't want to sound political.
Yeah.
And I don't want to condemn any country for its own culture.
Mm-hmm.
But the mom is very friendly. Riyadh is hostile. And sometimes you experience the worst of even racism.
Wow.
You driving when I was there, I was driving a brand new car from 0 mileage. Occasionally, when people see me, they ask me, enter driver. I say, no, it's my car. And they get shocked. And you can read it in their faces that they are shocked because a black man owns a brand new car. It's that bad. But it wasn't like that in Dammam. And I heard across the coastal cities like Yambo, Medina is naturally peaceful. Yambo, Abha, Hassa, and the coastal cities, Jeddah, they're very friendly, very hospitable.
Okay, so going into teaching, let's not dwell too much on that. Going into teaching, when you got to Saudi in the first place, you started teaching right away?
Yes.
Okay, the teaching experience in Dammam?
Yes. Okay, the teaching experience in Dammam, it was good, but I found something very, very shocking.
Mm-hmm.
And that American English has a lot of influence over there.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you try to speak
British
or you use certain words in isolation as a British speaker, some of them ignorantly laugh at you because they don't know, they've never heard such
words.
For example, flat, F-L-A-T.
Mm-hmm.
When you say, I live in 2-bedroom flat over there, they say, Mister, what is flat? They say, no, we don't know flat, we know apartment. Then you hear a lot of words. They don't know anything about schedule. They say schedule.
Mm-hmm.
American influence is so great over there.
Yeah, just like you say anti and anti.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anti-malaria, anti-malaria.
Mm-hmm.
Then even when it comes to lifestyle, the burger stuff, everybody's obese.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell Saudi population is 33 million.
Mm-hmm.
Foreigners 11 million. And the locals, 22 million.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go to the schools, the lifestyle is now, it's a lifestyle thing. If they're able to change their lifestyle, it will be much better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you find kids who come to school the next day telling you, Mister, I played, can you believe I played video game for 18 hours? Some of them will say, only when I go to pray, I pray right beside my game and then come back. So, and another thing I found shocking is that some of them will tell you, Mister, why should I study? My dad has got offices across the Middle East, including America and UK. Why should I study? You have to pay me for me to listen to you.
Ooh.
Yes, they say so. They say that to me a couple of times, and I'll be like, subhanAllah, these guys don't even know what they're doing. So it's that terrible. It's a cultural shock for me because there are people in Nigeria back home hungry for knowledge. And these guys have got the knowledge almost for free, but they don't care. So it's a very, very big cultural shock for me. And another thing is that our education, until I got to Saudi Arabia, I didn't know our education is so good. Mm-hmm. It's of high quality. Because for me, I studied in Nigeria. I've never lived abroad or studied abroad. Yet when I speak to people, they be like, in fact, they say my number as Lukman UK because we have a lot of blacks from the UK working in Saudi Arabia as expats. Mm-hmm. And they thought I'm one of them. To the extent that I was representing my school in Sheraton Hotel, Sheraton in Riyadh. Mm-hmm. Then we have several round tables. So I chose one with my colleague. We were sitting and then talking. Then somebody went to get his own coffee and some cookies. Then he came to our table. He said, can I join you guys? I said, why not? Then he said, what part of UK are you from? I said, no, I'm not from the UK. He said, oh, I was listening to your conversation. I thought you were from the UK. That's why I wanted to share the table with you. I said, no, I'm a Nigerian. I'm from Nigeria. I studied from Nigeria. So I've got nothing to do with UK. Then he was shocked. He said, I've got a lot of Nigerians in my school, but they don't speak like you. I said, "Oh, probably that's a gift to me." Yeah. So alhamdulillah, tomorrow they still want me to come back, but it's not worth it any longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's not worth it? Quickly.
Yeah, what I think is not worth it is the current rulership of the kingdom has introduced some crippling taxes that make life unsustainable
For a
for average
non-Saudi.
expats. Yeah, for average expats, especially working in the private sector.
Okay.
For example, if you live there with your family, you have 4 kids, 1 wife, you'll be paying the government like 5.5 million
In Naira.
in Naira cash. And
Yearly?
you don't
Per
pay
annum?
yearly, yes, per annum. You don't pay like installments.
You need to
don't
pay
accept
one
the
off.
installments, you pay one off and upfront.
Oh wow.
So it becomes, and that's just one of those taxes. There's commodity tax that was just introduced after I left. My friends are telling me about it. Then schooling, the average school you can put your kids is like 4 million per annum.
Wow.
4 million
And
naira.
if you've got 4 kids, that's
Yes.
16 million.
Exactly. So you become a perpetual slave, or you live in a perpetual debt if you continue to live there.
Oh, wow.
It's becoming like like Dubai. You can be there for 10, 15 years. You don't own a plot of land in Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's why I tell people, what you find in those places is just 24 hours power supply, which you can literally get in Nigeria too. If you have your money, you can tell NEPA to not come to your house anymore. You just install your solar and you're fine. So it's a crazy situation. Things we used to buy 4 riyal, 3 riyal in the past, now 15, 13, 14 riyals.
Wow,
So life is not sustainable. You can make, for instance, you can make 2 million naira per month, but your expenditure is 3 million naira.
Wow.
Without living exorbitant lifestyle.
Wow.
Without being ostentatious. So that's the lifestyle, and it's not worth it any longer.
Oh wow. Okay, with this we'll go on a quick break. When we return, we continue with the conversation. We're still speaking with Malam Lukman Bello on the life, the career path he chose, the work he did in Saudi Arabia and all of that. And we'll take a message from Hanana Nigeria Limited. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Ding ding! Welcome back. If you're just joining us, it's still Connect the Dots, where we're connecting the dots with Malam Lukman Bello, an education consultant in the Middle East with about a decade in the job, and also an English instructor, doing a lot of stuff. And he's been talking to us about the experiences starting with Nigeria job in the banking sector, having like a 10-month stint before getting an opportunity in Saudi, and trying to switch the culture when you get a new place and all that. Welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we've touched base with the way you started living in Saudi, and we stopped at some point where you gave some tidbit into the taxing system, which is not convenient for you. Let's take it up from there. So aside taxing system that is really kind of outrageous, what about other things? You've spoken about commodity. What about other things? The standard of living there, your school system. What does it cover for you aside your salary and all?
Okay. The school or the payment or the package is they always take care of everything to your ticket. But when you compare that to Nigerian salary, it is good. It sounds good, but in reality, the reality of the environment, the way you live, it's not good at all. And that's why I say before that you can earn. The situation is like you earn 2 million naira monthly, and then you spend 3 million naira
To survive.
and that means perpetually you're in debt. And what that means is that your employers are going to pay all the taxes the government demands. They're going to pay it for you, and at the end of the day, they deduct it from your salary through the year. So a lot of people are in a situation where they haven't finished paying this year, and there's another one waiting for them next year. So that's a perpetual slavery and perpetual debt culture that nobody ever
It's gonna
prays
get
for.
out. Oh.
Yeah, and in addition to all this, you have a lot of people, a lot of good brothers there who can't even enroll their kids in school. Because even the school where you work, for me, for instance, my daughter Farida, when she was in Riyadh with me in 2017, she was in KG2. Just KG2, and 2017, where the Naira hasn't been so bad, I was paying 1 million Naira for kindergarten 2, KG2. If I were to pay 1 million Naira for any KG school in Nigeria, my daughter is going to be in a school with kids of ministers and ambassadors. So I put all this together, and in addition to that, there's a difference in the education system. Whenever we're going back home, I ask her, Farida, what did you do today? We wrote L. Tomorrow, what did you do today? We wrote G. Next, what did you do today? We wrote F. Writing one alphabet per day, and then you're paying 1 million Naira. So, and this is the reason I tell a lot of people that a lot of things might be wrong with Nigeria, but certainly not our education. Our education is fantastic.
Wow.
It's fantastic, and that's why we're able to survive anywhere we go in the world, particularly in the English-speaking communities. Go to Australia, New Zealand,
UK.
Canada, UK, US, Ireland, and all those places. Nigerians are doing fantastically well. And even in Saudi, Nigerians are heading a lot of places doing well. The only problem we just have is the image issues brought upon us by our politicians. That's all I can say for that. And it's not been easy. I don't like homeschooling for my kids, but unfortunately, that's what a lot of people have to deal with. Because the reality is, you got 3 kids, you can't pay 30,000 riyal, which is around 4 million naira per child, because the salary is probably not even up to that, not even close. So the survival is just it's impossible there. And that's why a lot of people are returning home, or you move to the West. And not all of us, not many of us want to live in the West. So some of us want to be back home, and that's why we're here.
Okay, so with your experience, you chose to come back home, right?
Yeah.
You've got the experience with the English, been an English instructor, right?
Yes.
And then you're an education consultant.
Yes.
How are you trickling it down in Nigeria, making this experience work in your favor?
Okay. Thank God in Nigeria, I've got this leverage because I've worked abroad. So, and Nigeria is so crazy about anything abroad. And they want to listen to you once they hear your background or your biography. They want to listen to you. And this has been my own selling point. And I come to discover that there's a lot of things to be done for Nigerian teachers or in the education sector completely. And that's why we are working with my team. I have my consulting firm known as Edu Expert Limited. That's Education Expert Limited. So we're working on a lot of things, including competition for schools, among schools. At the moment, we're even offering a free teacher training workshop for schools, just to sell who we are to the people. And once they get to know us, then we can be their consultants and further our business relationship with the schools. Nigerians are passionate about education, but unfortunately, we are deficient in a lot of ways. Unlike in Saudi, everything they need about education, the government provides it.
Free?
Yes, everything the government provides for them, and there's too much wealth, and the kids feel like, I don't need to study. Many times they tell you in the class, Mister, why do I need to study? You have to pay me to listen to you.
Wow.
But it's opposite here. So it's been working in my favor, and I've been going around. I've done a couple of trainings with schools, and I've spoken about different issues in different schools as well, because I still work as a public speaker in certain areas. They invite me to come and talk to some students to inspire them or motivate them. I motivate teachers as well. So like I said, I just came back into the country, and I'm still trying to navigate around seeking partnership in different ways with people that have already been on the ground longer than I am. So far, it's been good.
Yeah, so what would you say the experience of training teachers in Nigeria like compared to the one you experienced? I don't know if you train teachers there too in Saudi with Nigeria, and in what ways are we able to better our crafts in terms of education in Nigeria?
Yes, one thing I find a little bit strange in Nigeria is that we're quite smart, but we have a long way to go in the aspect of communication.
Mm-hmm.
And that has to do with pronunciation.
Pronunciation.
For instance, I got a job for some teachers from Nigeria. I had elevated them to the highest esteem to the potential employers. And then these guys are going to teach mathematics and science-related courses, which has to do with calculations,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. And then when the employers finally want to have the final interview with them, these guys messed up. They were struggling because they couldn't pronounce words properly. For example, they say, instead of saying three, they say tiri.
Oh
Tiri,
my
tiri.
God.
And then another one is even the mathematics, they can't pronounce it properly. They say mathematics.
Oh wow.
So we have a lot of things to work on, and that's why my company, in conjunction with another consultant, we're trying to improve on that. We're going to schools to even try to improve the kids right from childhood, and train teachers, particularly English teachers. We're focusing on those because a lot of I did a training in Mina, in one of those international schools around, and one of the English teachers came to me after the training. It's like, Mr. Lukman, I didn't know this was wrong all along, and I even studied English as well. And this is the phrase, I used to see him every day. In Nigeria, we use that "used to" in a way that is ungrammatical.
Improper. Yeah.
Yes, it is not, because what you do every day, if you say I used to see him every day, you already put in two tenses together.
Yeah.
I used to is only in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then you put every day again. It means even today you still see him. Why would you say I used to again? So, and this cuts across, even the teachers are saying it. And if the teachers do not know, that's going to impact
On the
wrongly,
students.
negatively
Mm-hmm.
on the kids, because the teachers are naturally the second role models.
Apart from aside parents.
Yes, aside the parents,
Mm-hmm.
the teachers are the second role model. And if the kids go to school and then the teachers are saying something different, and then they come back home, the parent who probably knows more than the teacher is saying something different. The kid is lost.
Yeah, confused.
He's confused, he's lost, he doesn't know what to do.
Which is right.
So we have a long way to go in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And over there, they have everything when it comes to training, and they do that regularly. That's a good thing about them. If you work in the Middle East, you enjoy a lot of training, you earn a lot of certificates, and your professionalism is going to be top notch. So I think so far, that's what I have to say on that.
Okay, taking a lesson or taking a cue due to time, with your experience in Nigeria and the Middle East, what would you like to see change in our societies in terms of education, even though you've highlighted some of them? And secondly, what is that message you got for Nigerian youth, Nigerian students, on improving themselves in every ramification of life, whether learning every day, whether reading, and every other thing in between?
Okay, the first question about areas of improvement for Nigerian education
System, yeah.
There are a lot of things to be done. For instance, the first thing is the package. The welfare is poor. The package is poor. If you don't motivate a teacher, you can't motivate anybody in the class.
Mm-hmm.
This is the basic. So the teachers are not happy. They can't make your kids happy either.
Mm-hmm.
The government has to look into that. I'm even trying to work in collaboration with some organization to try float some ideas that will go public, like advocacy, where we can fight for teachers. This is very, very important because everybody's working. Why is everybody working? We're working for the money. If the money is not there, you can't be motivated. I can name you some top schools who pay teachers only 90,000 naira, and they get 3, 4, 5 million naira from the parents every year.
Yeah.
So this is unacceptable. And another thing is for the government to regulate the education industry properly. Thank God, President Muhammad Buhari has done quite a lot for teachers, improving the salary, but still not enough. So if teachers like in Finland, Norway, the Scandinavian countries, Denmark and all that, people are happy to be teachers because they are well paid, even more better paid than the bankers. So people do their job with dignity. But in Nigeria, it's not the case. For example, again, we have a good educators in Nigeria, even far better than South Africa. But South Africa is well structured. You can tell this is a teacher because they have some certain teaching license that you must obtain before you even go abroad to teach. In Nigeria, anybody can just go abroad and then they mess us up, then they generalize, oh, Nigerians are not good. This is the problem we're going through. So the second part of the question is inspiring the youth. One thing that I like to say is to continue to learn. Nobody's an island of knowledge and nobody knows it all. We have to continue to strive to learn. And now it's even easier, it's much easier. You can learn by yourself through TikTok. I tell people, TikTok is not just about some women insulting each other on the application. You can learn everything on TikTok. I've learned far more than I would have learned from all the other applications combined from TikTok. So many of those books that you've read in the past are being summarized episode by episode. It just depends on whom you follow on TikTok. So whatever you want to learn, some famous people are even saying, I don't YouTube anymore, I TikTok. I don't Google anymore, I TikTok. So all this, there are so many students that I tutor in Saudi who've never been to school, but they speak well, they behave well, and they are very, very intelligent when it comes to standardized international tests. So the current generation is so lucky that they can self-tutor themselves. They can learn everything by themselves, but only if they have the willingness to do so. And there are a lot of opportunities out there. There's a prediction that 2023 is going to witness far more millionaires than we've had in the past. 2023, 2024, because of the evolution in the technology world. For example, they are talking about Web 3 now.
3.0.
A lot of us don't even know Web
2.0.
Exactly.
Some people are still struggling with 1.0. Yeah?
Exactly. So we have to be open-minded. We have to continue to learn, and we have to be we have to perfect our interpersonal relationship. Because right now, relationship is even more important than the degree you're holding.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So, and lastly, because we're supposed to delve into that before something else took over, I know that there are lots of challenges you encountered during all of these phases, from the banking to moving to the Middle East and all that. What's that one thing that made you choose to come back to Nigeria? And maybe you could tell us with some experiences that you had that made you choose, no, I think it's better to come give back in my country.
Okay, top amongst that is the tax system that's just been introduced to the Saudis or to the expats. We all are paying the same taxes. When we first got to Saudi Arabia, this bottled water was more expensive than a liter of fuel.
Seems you're doing ad for Nestle. No, we're not doing ad for Nestle, please.
So as we speak right now, fuel is more expensive in Saudi than Nigeria.
Okay.
So in addition to what I already talked about the taxes, there are so many taxes I can't even remember. So it's not worth it any longer. And the worst of my experience, why I said I think I've had enough, I want to quit this abroad thing, is repeatedly I had experience where I felt racism at the highest level, a systemic one. For example, they don't care as long as they have a white guy with blonde hair, blue eyes, with no qualifications, they will employ him in sensitive positions. And then you as a black guy or Asian with even up to PhD, they don't give you regards. I've attended interviews in multiple areas where I even have some white guys interviewed me, and then they tell me, "Oh, Mr. Lukman, we want you, we like you, you're very good, blah blah blah, but do you have a Western passport?" Once you say no, and that's the end of the recruiting procedure. They don't want to hear from you anymore. So, unlike in the West, no matter where you come from, even if you come from the poorest countries, Bangladesh, Yemen, and all these places, as long as you have something to offer, they give you opportunity. Or in the Middle East, it's reverse. They employ passport instead of competence. So, and when I put all these things together, I just felt like I'm being ostracized from the society where I live. So I decided that it was time for me to return home.
Yeah. Was there any tax or was there any fine that got you on your toes?
Yes, I got once. I got a 3,000 real fine. They say I was driving on the wrong path, like I was on the one way, just like 100 meters. I was coming back to Nigeria for a vacation, and then I went to get toys for my kids in a ghetto area. It's called Batha, and I was looking for a place to park. I just moved like 100 meters, a very short distance. And somebody, the traffic police came to me, and then it took a shot of my number plates. And when that happens, you're gone. And guess what? I was fined 3,000 real, which is almost $1,000.
Wow! Even in the US, I don't think there is any such
I've never heard anything like that too, even from my colleagues in the US or UK. Right. I was fined 3,000 reals, which is very close to $1,000. And that was the worst experience for me. They wouldn't even listen to me to explain myself what happened. I was looking for a place to park for the past 45 minutes. Yet this is what I got eventually.
That's really sad. So many thanks for joining us. And that's it on Connect the Dots. We've been talking, or we've spoken with Marlon Lukman Bello, education consultant, English language instructor, and a host of other things that it does, telling us that in Nigeria is trying to establish a lot to change the some of the things that we need to change in the education sector in Nigeria. Many thanks for watching. See you again next week. Ding ding.